Hello dear students, this is your English teacher Qaisar Bashir. Dear students, in this video I am going to talk about the last chapter from the prose section of your English text Tulip series for class 10th. And the name of the chapter is The Ghat of the Only World, written by Amitav Ghosh. Let's get started. About the author. Amitav Ghosh, born in 1956, is an Indian Bengali author known for his work in English language. His famous works of fiction are Sea of Poppies, The Circle of Reason, The Shadow Lines, The Calcutta Chromosome, The Glass Palace, and The Hungry Tide. The students, The Shadow Lines won him the Sahitya Academy Award. In 2007, he was awarded the Padma Shri by the Indian government. Introduction. A dying man, an expatriate from Kashmir, asks the author to write something about him after he is gone. The Ghat of the Only World is a friend's tribute to a friend. The author recollects all the memories of his beloved friend to fulfill his promise. This is a deeply emotional response to respect a friend's wish to write something about him after his death. Agha Shahid Ali, a prominent Kashmiri poet, died at the age of 52 of brain tumor. Shahid had settled in the US. He knew that death would knock his door any time. But what a bold and courageous front he puts up with the tough times is really inspiring. The Ghat of the Only World is actually the title of the famous poem written by Agha Shahid Ali. In the collection of his poems, Rooms Are Never Finished. In this poem, the poet remembers all his beloved ones who have died and journeyed into another world. Actually, the poem is written in response to the poet's knowledge of his approaching death. He feels that his beloved ones are calling him from the other Ghat. The last line of the poem reads, Shahid, hush, this is me, James. The loud one always leaves. Summary. The lesson, The Ghat of the Only World, opens with the sentence. The first time that Agha Shahid Ali spoke to me about his approaching death was on 25th April 2001. And during the telephonic conversation, Shahid requested the author, Amitav Ghosh, to write about him after he's gone. When it happens, I hope you will write something about me, because he was suffering from brain cancer and he knew his days are numbered. Though the author resists it because of his lack of ability to respond in a situation like this, Shahid, however, knew him well, and thus he made him agree on this. The author tells how he made notes of every encounter and telephone conversation with Shahid after that day to be able to write about him. Now, the author's fascination with his friend dates back to a time when they were not friends. He knew Shahid for his work in poetry. It was only through a friend that they met, but remained only acquaintances. A year later, when Shahid moved to Brooklyn, one of the towns in New York City in the United States, they got closer upon frequent branches. It was after a sudden temporary lapse of memory that Shahid moved from Manhattan to live with his sister. The author mentions one such day when he went along with Shahid's siblings to pick him up from the hospital after surgery. Shahid refused to take the help of a wheelchair, claiming that he is still fit to trust his toes. Upon seeing him lose his balance, they called the escort back with the wheelchair. Shahid, being full of life, got excited upon knowing that the guy knows Spanish, as he had always wanted to learn the language. The author and Shahid had a great deal in common. To quote a few, they had common love for Indian dishes like Rogan Josh and a shared indifference towards cricket. Despite knowing where his disease was going to take him, Shahid always surrounded himself with people which according to him gave him no time to be sad. There used to be a party in his living room almost daily with a person or two in the kitchen, cooking his favorite Rogan Josh while he gave direction amidst his party. He talked endlessly about his favorite ghazal singer, Begum Akhtar, and her stories of witty replies. Once at Barcelona airport, a security guard, a woman, asked him, "Are you carrying anything that could be dangerous to the other passengers?" To this he, clapping a hand to his chest, replied wittingly, "Only my heart." He made a mention about it in his poetry. The author then talks about how the prevailing situations in Kashmir affected him. He wrote a lot of poetry about Kashmir. The country without post office is one of the examples, and thought that politics and religion should act separately. He felt that people must stay united despite religion. He gave the credit of this way of thinking to his upbringing. The author mentions how he wishes to be in Kashmir. "I would like to go back to Kashmir to die," while taking his last breath, but could not due to logical and other reasons. He died peacefully in his sleep at 2 a.m. on 8th of December 2001, leaving a void in the author's life. The author is left thinking how a bond of such short duration can have such a lasting impact. Dear students, this was all about the God of the Only World. I'll talk about the language and other important issues in the next video. I'll meet you soon with the video. Till then, stay blessed. Khuda Hafiz.